What's up, YouTubers? This is your boy Big Metro Fan 12 coming to you with another video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the fact that the PlayStation Classic isn't selling well in Japan. Now, I read an online article by comicbook.com that in its first week's sales, the PlayStation Mini only sold like over 120,000 units over in Japan. But they pretty much pointed out that the Super Nintendo Classic sold over 360,000 units in its first week. You know what I'm saying? So that what they're pointing out is that while the first week sales of the PlayStation Mini isn't necessarily a flop, but they are pretty much saying that the sales for the PlayStation Classic is pretty much disappointing when compared to the Super Nintendo Classic. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can honestly say that the sales isn't necessarily the flop for the PlayStation Classic, but I can admit it's not too great either when you talk about first week sales. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing I can say is that even though Sony didn't release the sales numbers of the PlayStation Classic in the US yet, but it could be safe to say that the sales is going to be disappointing here as it is in like Japan. You know what I'm saying? And another thing about it that I've heard from this part, I heard from Rich from Review Tech USA. Amazon pretty much was selling the PlayStation Classic at a discounted price, and that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? They're the fact that Amazon selling it at a discounted price this soon after the PlayStation Classic released. I would say within a month after its release. You know what I'm saying? The main issue, of course, is the fact that the list of games and on the PlayStation Classic is the obvious reason why. The main issue is that when you talk about the list of games, I would say 85% of the 20 games, at least that necessarily people didn't ask for. Like one example would be the Street Fighter puzzle game. Then the other one would be, say, the first Twisted Metal game. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's others too, you know what I'm saying, that people didn't necessarily ask for, but they did ask for games like Tomb Raider, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and all that. I mean, yeah, there were also like poor marketing, but also licensing of some games were attributed to it too. But let's face it, certain games were included while certain games that people asked for were excluded. Not only that, the the games, I'll say at least half of the games that's in the PlayStation Classic are PAL versions of these particular games. You know what I'm saying? And from what I've heard, a lot of these games don't like run particularly well on the PlayStation Classic, which is really a shame, especially since I heard about the same PlayStation games running better on the Super Nintendo Classic, which I done a video on. You know what I'm saying? So Sony did not have an excuse to do a half-baked job on the PlayStation Mini to the point that they're having disappointing sales. You know what I'm saying? And I can honestly say that even though I'm not a PlayStation fan by any stretch, but still they should have done a better job in putting games together that people actually wanted. You know what I'm saying? Now they suffering through too much mediocre sales. You know what I'm saying? And the fans were disappointed because because of the disappointment. Like I said, the sales are just not good. You know what I'm saying? And this is a good example of not putting out a product that people want, and you pretty much suffer the consequences for it. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, sound off in the comment section about the fact that the PlayStation Classic is not selling well in Japan. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, if you like this video, don't hesitate to click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. This is your boy Big Metro Fan 12 signing off.